It's your boy Dave, saxologist here. Today I have a very special guest. All of my guests are special. This is the end of the year, and this man right here is a globetrotter. The brother passport probably looks like I don't know what. But anywho, today I want to introduce to some and reintroduce to others Mr. Adrian Crutchfield. Adrian, how you doing, brother?
Man, I can't complain. How are you?
Man, I am doing great, man. Especially now that I'm talking to a number one artist on the Billboard with that so cool. Congratulations, brother. Talk to
Thank
me
you, man.
about that, man.
Oh yeah, so it's been a blast. This is my first official record with a label. It's my fourth official album. Uh, so we came out of with Tripping the Rhythm. We started with a song called "Slick." That was my first single with the label, and it was a great song produced by Ryan Lavalette, a heavy hitter.
Right.
Still one of my favorites, but it didn't quite make the charts. And then the second song out was a song called "Champagne," produced by Chris Big Dog Davis. And again, it was getting traction, but just not enough.
Right.
And then we came out with "So Good." That was the last single that we came out with in May, and it spread like wildfire. And "So Good," of course, again produced by Chris Big Dog Davis, has been just a crazy hit for me, and it's still ridiculously it's still on the charts now. It's not number one anymore, but I held the number one spot for at least 3 weeks, so that's incredible in itself, and I'm very proud of that. But yeah, it's just been a blast to even be considered and to even be on the charts at all. So I'm just happy. It's been a great year.
Congratulations. You know what, brother? You deserve it, man, because
Thank you,
you
man.
you have paid your dues, brother. You've been through the ring. So we're gonna
I
we're
mean,
gonna start
yeah.
at the beginning, man. When was little Adrian, man? When did little Adrian get started? Wanted to play any kind of instrument.
I always wanted to play. Music was always my thing. I think the first sign of, I guess, role models, if you would, the icons, the idols that I saw that made me really want to play. Nobody ever realizes this, but uh, because of my story, of course, I got my first saxophone from Kenny G. And people think that that was the beginning of the story for me, but it really isn't. That was like a pinnacle in the story, but uh, it started with Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Believe it or not, you remember that movie?
Yes, I do.
So I think Jessica Rabbit was probably my first crush. I had a thing for Jessica Rabbit, like everybody did. But she had a band. Nobody talks about this, but she had a band. And in the movie, her band plays whenever she's performing. Her band is playing, and it's a bunch of it's the crows from The Wizard of Oz, technically, basically. Um, but they're all like beatniks. They're all cool cats, the jazz kids.
Right.
And if you go back and watch that movie or watch those scenes, if you're a musician, you can look at each one of those crows and you can identify somebody you know. Some musician that reminds you of those crows. And so those guys were my first real icons as far as I want to be like them. They're cool. What's their story? And so that's when it started for me. And that was probably at like 3 or 4 years old.
Okay.
Um, and so obviously after that, I went with my parents to a Kenny G concert, and that Kenny G saw me and thought it was strange that there was a 4-year-old at a jazz concert, and he brought me to the stage and gave me my first saxophone, and so uh, that was again another pinnacle in my story, and that kind of all of those things put together eventually led to me playing saxophone. So that here I am.
Okay. That's all right. So when did you actually pick up your first alto, tenor, or what have you to start playing then? How old were you then?
I was 4. So Kenny G gave me my first sax, but it was actually a wind synthesizer, much like what you were playing
Yeah.
earlier. It was the Casio wind synthesizer, the little silver one shaped like a saxophone.
Yeah.
Um, that's what he gave me, and then that following Christmas, my parents got me an alto saxophone, a Buffet Crampon Evec
Okay.
alto.
All
And so
right.
I started trying to play around it uh, for years, and then that was in my hometown of Roanoke, Virginia. We moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, when I was 9, and I started band in school in 5th grade at age 10, and that's when I really, really started to try and play. Before that, it was kind of like a toy. I
Right, right,
kind
right.
of figure out how to play melodies. Mary Had a Little Lamb, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, etc. Uh, and then I'd try to jazz those things up. In 5th grade is when I really started to actually learn what was happening, what notes were what, and how to properly hold the horn and technique and things like that. And then not long after that, I was, playing in the children's theater here in Charlotte and things like that, and eventually the jazz clubs.
You picked it up pretty you picked it up pretty quick then, pretty much, right? You started progressing really quick, or would you say
No,
you
no,
didn't?
no. I was a slow learner. Saxophone can really, for those of you out there listening, saxophone can really beat you up if you're not patient with it. It's like, man, I was that kid in band that sounded like a dying duck. Um, I
Wow.
just couldn't get tone, but when it snaps, when it does hit, when it's there, it's there. So once you have your tone, once you find your tone, it's there. But it takes a while, and it can be very discouraging. I know for me, my mom used to make me practice in the closet because she'd be yelling at me like I'm trying to watch the news, and stuff like that. So it wasn't quick, but when it happened, that's all I wanted to do. Once I heard my voice on saxophone, that's all I wanted to do.
You know what, man? Speaking of your mother, I'm Facebook friends with your mother, and
Everybody's Facebook friends with my mama.
yeah, you know what?
Okay, my
I'm
brother.
telling you,
Hey,
bro.
one second, bro. Yeah, you guys done?
Yeah, we put the dresser back,
Oh man, I
everything back.
appreciate it.
We gotta change the closet door for
Okay.
Friday.
Okay. Thanks, man.
All right.
All right, y'all have a good one.
You too, bro. You happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes, sir. You too.
I got a new washer and dryer today.
Okay, good for
So
you, man. Yeah.
yeah, my maintenance team is amazing here. They're great.
Yeah, but you
Jill
know what?
came in and did it.
Your
Yeah,
mother, your mother seems like she ain't the one though. So I know, and you come from good stock, man.
yeah.
One thing
No, my
about you,
mom.
brother,
Yeah.
you are so personable. When I met you at Nam, 4 years ago, I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
remember, but we were standing there and B. Thompson was doing his thing, and then I said, "Hey, man, Adrian Crutchfield." You said, "Yeah, man." He said, "I'm playing at Spaghettini's tonight." I said, "Is
That's
that
right.
right?" And I
That's
bought the
right.
ticket right there. You remember?
That's right. I remember. I
Yeah.
remember. Man, yeah, yeah. But that B Thompson, man. Shouts out to B Thompson. That's
Yeah,
my boy.
man. And then
I'm super proud of him.
ever since then, though, bro, I've been following you and just watching your progression, brother. And man, dude, you out of here now, man. You know what I
Thank you,
mean?
man. Thank you. Thank you. Listen. It's been a long road, man. There's no such thing as overnight success. I do. I wear the title. Like I love all the accolades I'm getting right now, especially with the number one hit and the breakout artist of the year thing. All of that stuff, I love it. But there is no such thing as overnight success. I've been working at this for a long
I
time,
know, man.
and so while I try to remain humble, I am also very proud of my accomplishments, and they did not come overnight or easily. We had to work at it. All of us, musicians have to work at what we get, and so it's a great accomplishment. I feel great, but yeah,
And
it
you
is
should,
not
as you
overnight.
should,
It is not
and
overnight.
and the show that you did at Spaghettini, that Christmas show you did at Spaghettini's,
Yeah,
bro, that was off the chain, man.
thank you, thank you.
That's one of
I
my
hope
favorite clubs, man. Is that one of your favorite venues to play?
for sure, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure. Spaghettini is for me. It's funny because the further I go into my career, uh, the more I get to experience things that I dreamed about. Like all these things, it's like a Cinderella story, man. All these things are things that growing up is like I want to do the things that my idols are doing. So I'd see things, advertisements for, you know, Gerald Albright and Kirk Whalum and Dave Kaz, and they're playing at Spaghettini or some other club or some festival. And I literally grew up, I kid you not, I had a like a white boom box with a CD player on the top, right?
Right.
You remember those?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And that's what sat at on top of my bed, at the head of my bed, was that boom box, and it had a tape player and a radio and a CD player, right? CD player was on top, and I would put on the radio literally every night with some headphones just like these, some big headphones, and I would go to sleep like this with the headphones plugged into the CD, the boom box, listening to the radio, listening to smooth jazz radio, and imagining that I literally fall asleep imagining like if Kirk Whalum was on, right? If the radio was playing Kirk Whalum, I would imagine myself as Kirk Whalum playing a live show. So so Kirk's sound became my sound, and I would just take his place in that. You know, he was one of my idols. Dave Koz was one of my idols. Gerald Albright, Richard Elliott, all of them.
Yeah.
Anybody, I would just imagine myself uh, in their role. And then when I would see or hear advertisements like on Smooth Jazz Radio, they'd be like, "And Dave Koz is going to be at Spaghettini." I'd be like, "Oh man, one day I'm going to play Spaghettini." So Spaghettini is definitely one of my favorite places because I literally grew up, you know, idolizing that place and wanting to be there. That's the arena that everybody, you got to go there. You have to, if you want to be in the smooth jazz world, you got to play Spaghettini, you know? So
I
yeah,
agree. And and I've been there since its inception. It opened 35 years ago or so. I've been
yeah,
going there ever since it opened.
yeah.
And
It's
I've
definitely,
seen
it's a
everybody
dream.
there, you know.
Because everybody plays there, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's, and also it's just a great venue. They have
It is.
great sound. Shout outs to the sound crew, Eric Mondragon and everybody else that works there. Shout out to Carrie and everybody at Spaghettini because it's just a great venue. Um, I kind of I kind of compare other venues. I always will compare other venues to Spaghettini, as far as the performance, the sound, the stage, the
Right.
audience, the management, the food. Oh my God,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
food, the food. If
Yes.
you've never been to Spaghettini, Sunday brunch will change your life.
That's
Change
right.
your life.
You're
Yeah.
right. You're
So
right.
yeah,
So hey,
yeah, man.
Adrian, so let's talk about how you got that beautiful sound and tone and everything, man. As your development, what were you doing to get that amazing tone that you have, man?
Uh, you know, I don't really know. I'm very grateful for my tone and my sound and my voice. I'm constantly working on it. Um, but I think it's a combination of me emulating all of my favorite players. So whether that be, I think the on especially on alto, uh, my biggest influence on alto, as far as tone, would probably be Gerald. Um, it'd be Gerald and Dave and a little bit of Paquito de Rivera.
Okay.
Um, that's in there too, and just everybody, man. Kenny Garrett's in there. You know, I take a little bit of from everybody that I hear that I like, and I try to say, well, what about their tone? What is it? It's a voice. It's just like a voice.
Yeah.
So you got singers that you'll hear singers and you'll hear them emulate, you know, their favorite singers, Luther Vandross or whoever. Um, I do the same thing, and then on top of that, I'll take sax players and emulate them, but I also take vocals. So two of my biggest influences are Luther Vandross and Anita Baker. Um, you know, I try to approach the saxophone like a vocalist would, and that's where that comes from. But yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, it could be anything. I used to, again, my mom. Speaking of my mom, you know, she used to get really annoyed with me because I'd be playing all the time,
Yeah.
and she'd be trying to watch TV or watch the news when she got home from work or whatever, and so she would make me go and play in the closet, and I always had a really, thankfully, I always had a really big sound, and
Yeah.
so it didn't matter if I played in the closet or not, you could still hear it.
Yeah.
Uh, so eventually, I started putting. This is funny. I totally forgot about this until now. I started putting. I would stuff the bell of my horn with Beanie Babies. Remember Beanie
Yeah.
Babies? The
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had those in the house, and I would just stuff a few of those down the bell of the horn to muffle, to create a
Right.
muted
Yeah.
horn, so that I wouldn't bother my neighbors, or
Yeah.
I wouldn't bother my mom or my dad or whoever, you know. And then I started doing that at school too. And then when I would take them out, my sound was even bigger. So it was, it's almost like playing with resistance. So for
Yeah.
those of you who aren't musicians, imagine running with weights on your legs. That's kind of the only analogy I can think of, is running with weights and then taking the weights off and realizing you
Yeah.
can run really fast and really far, more so than you thought. So yeah, I'd have to attribute it to that, and also probably pedagogy. Like, thankfully, I had great teachers that kept me involved in playing classical music and etudes and things like that, and warm ups and things that would keep my technique solid. Uh, Whereas otherwise I would have just playing rock. I would just been playing rock and pop and
Right. Right.
gospel and smooth jazz. And what people don't realize is most contemporary jazz artists are very, especially if you look at like Kirk, they're very classically,
Right.
adept too. So, so yeah, I'm thankful for my teachers because they kept me in that. Even when I didn't want to do it, they made me do it.
You didn't want to do all those etudes and stuff, but hey,
No,
you got to do it though, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had this one teacher. His name's James Curry here in Charlotte, and he was more so a classical saxophonist. And so what he would do is, at that time I was going to a few different teachers. And they were all players. They were all guys who played around town. So James Curry, Michael Porter, and people like that. And so Michael Porter taught me how to trust my ear. So I started playing by ear through Michael Porter, and then he would tell me to pick a song that was on the radio. And so the songs I was hearing on the radio, again, I was listening to smooth jazz radio. So I was hearing like Nelson Rangel play
Oh yeah.
uh, "Let's Wait a While" by
Oh
Janet
yeah.
Jackson,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'd be like, I want to play that. And so he would teach me that, and then I would go and work on it with James Curry, and James Curry would say, "Well, I'll teach you how to play these particular notes, but before you learn this song, if you want me to teach you more about this song, then you need to learn this etude first. And then if you learn, for every etude that you learn, I'll teach you a pop song." So that's how he kept me
Okay.
involved in it.
Yeah.
And so if I wanted to learn how to play the notes that Nelson Rangel was playing on "Let's Wait a While," I had to be able to play the Universal Method Etude number 75 or something, something like
That
that.
big thick blue book.
Yes,
I
sir.
remember that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
remember that book.
hmm 1 second, I gotta knock at the door.
Sure.
Make
Yes.
that.
Yep.
And grab the pipe cleaner, bro, man.
Oh, you're good, man. Do you think? That's maintenance. They came back for something.
All right. No problem.
But yeah, yeah, man. So that big book, I have it around here. It's here somewhere, but I keep it on a. I keep the book on my iPad now. It's digital, so.
All of my pages kind of tore up on that thing. I had to get rid of. It was just, how it is.
That's why I'm telling you, man. You just gotta get an iPad and put all your. I have every piece of music that I need on the iPad. So.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I have the real book. I have the Universal Method. I have other etudes and things on there. And my whole Prince catalog that I played, all that's on my iPad.
And let's talk about Prince, man.
Yeah,
You ain't gonna be able to get away from here without talking about Prince.
come on,
So,
man. I know.
how- first of all, how did you get that gig, and what kind of experience was that the time that you spent with him?
So I'm not entirely sure how I got the gig.
Okay.
There are different scenarios and speculations on how that came to be. What I can tell you is that Marcus Anderson and we got the call, and it was originally to put together a horn section uh, for Andy Allo, who was one of Prince's proteges. If you're not familiar with Andy Allo, she is also an actress, and she had a role. She just had a show on Prime, on Amazon Prime. Uh, Upload, I think, is the name of the
Okay.
show, She's the
What's
star
the
of
name
it.
again, Adrian? I'm sorry. What's the name?
Andy Allo, A
Andy
L
Allen.
L
I'm gonna
O.
look it up.
Yeah. So Andy, so she was a Prince protege. She was an artist that he was producing. He wanted us to build her a young dancing horn section, and I believe the reason why he called us was because when he came to Charlotte on the Welcome to America tour, uh, Marcus and I were the horn section for Anthony Hamilton, and Anthony was the opening act
Okay.
for that show. So that's when we first met Prince. Was we were opening the show with Anthony Hamilton, um, and he got to see us and our horn section do some stuff there. Um, Not to mention half of the New Power generation at the time were Carolinians. We knew a lot of them. Um, so anyway, Marcus at the time, Marcus was touring with, he was playing with the Sax Pack. So he's doing a lot of shows with the Sax Pack and getting a lot of feature work and exposure, which was great. And Marcus and I were like this. So
Right.
anything he did, he would call me, and if he couldn't do it, I did it, or vice versa. If I couldn't do an Anthony Hamilton show, he came and he did it for me, and that's just how we've always been. Um, so anyway, Marcus called me one day and said, "Hey man, I got some crazy news. I can't really tell anybody yet, but I may need you to cover some of the Sax Pack dates for me because I got a call to come out and work with Prince." Now, for me, it's a win-win because if Marcus is working with Prince, that's a good look for both of us.
Right.
And also, if if he needs me to go and sub for the Sax Pack, that means I get the exposure of the Sax Pack and being able
Right.
to play with a bunch of my idols.
Yes.
Uh, so I was like, of course, sure. Uh, so he told me a little bit about it, and he's like, yeah, he wants me to come out and work with this singer, and I don't know what else. And I think Andrew Goucher had given Marcus his contact, but apparently at the same time, Cassandra O'Neill and Shelby J had given my contacts to Prince. So literally, probably like 30 minutes after I got the call from Marcus, I got a call from Paisley Park uh, saying, "Hey, we want you to come and work with this artist that Prince is producing and build a horn section for her." And so naturally, when I got that call, I thought it was a prank. I thought Marcus was kind of playing a joke on me. So I remember saying, "Yeah, that's really funny, Marcus," and then I hung up the phone. And so Cassandra O'Neill called me a few minutes later and confirmed that it was a real call. So I told her to have them call me back. They called me back, and I said, I said, "I'm sorry. I got Sprint and my signal was really bad, so I must have dropped the call. And so we talked, and so I ended up calling Marcus back and saying, "Hey man, I got bad news and I got good news." And he said, "What's up?" And I said, "Well, the bad news is I can't cover those days for you." And he was like, "But you said you could, and I don't know anybody else that can do, that can. I can't. I don't really know who else I can call for that."
Right.
And I was like, I know, but here's the good news: they want both of us to come and build this horn section for Andy. So we're both going to Paisley. So Marcus and I then built the our half of the New Power Generation horns, um, which consisted of me and Marcus and BK Jackson, Len Grissett, Joey Rayfield, and Steve Reed on trumpet. So uh, we were joined by Phil Lassiter and his half, which was Phil and Keith Anderson and Sly Onyejaka and Roy Agee and some other. It was a big horn section. We were
Right.
11 pieces. Uh, so it was just it was a great experience. We we had a blast. Playing for Prince has been probably one of the best experiences of my life. It's just there's nothing like it. There's nothing like that world. I don't think anything will ever top it.
What were the rehearsals like with him? Because I
The
heard
re-
there was hours and all that kind of stuff. Is that true?
yeah.
Yeah.
The rehearsals were like shows. So when you go, if you've ever been to Paisley Park, have you ever been to Paisley Park?
No, I've never been there.
when you go to Paisley Park, anybody out there listening or watching, when you go to Paisley Park, you walk through a foyer, and once you get past that foyer, there's no windows, there's no clocks, there's no phones. It's just its own little universe. It's like imagine going to the chocolate factory and Prince is Willy Wonka. That's the best analogy I can give you is we were going into Charlie and the Chocolate Factory every day. And if we went in at 2 or 3 p.m., uh, we might not come out of there until 8 or 9 in the morning the next day because you just have no idea. You're not checking your phone. You're not doing it. We're just working. We're working stuff out. We're playing. We might break for dinner and then come back and do it again. And then the next thing you know, it's the next day.
Wow,
And so it was, yeah, we would rehearse for hours, 8-hour days, rehearsing,
man.
just practicing, just playing the show and playing different versions of the show. And at first I didn't understand it because I was like, man, this is too much.
Yeah.
But there were times where we would go and do a concert somewhere, and we might do the first set. We might do the first set, and Prince may never even come to the stage on that first set because he didn't have to, because he had rehearsed us so much that we could do the whole show without him.
Oh,
And and then sometimes he'd call an audible and we'd do a different show. So actually all the time. So if you've ever been to a Prince concert, it's a different show every time he did it. It was a different show. You can't go to a Prince you can't go to a Prince concert and see the same show twice. And so I now understand what all that rehearsing was for. So we can call audibles. We could pivot on a dime and do whatever. And so it was brutal, but it was great. And and we were being compensated. We were being paid. I think rehearsing with Prince, I made more money rehearsing with Prince than I've ever made with any other artist touring.
what?
Yeah.
Like that? Oh, wow.
Yeah. He paid us more to rehearse than any other artist has ever paid me to tour. So I was not going to complain.
I know
Yeah.
that's right.
On the flip side, I can complain because on the flip side, while we may be there for a month rehearsing, then we may go home and be sitting for 2 months or 3 months and waiting for him to call again.
Oh,
So it was kind of like, on one side, yeah, it's great, but on the other side, it's like, okay, now I have to go and sit and wait. And I think that was the only negative about working with Prince is it was like imagine being a doctor on call
yeah.
all the time. So there were times I literally had to have a bag packed and I didn't know. Most of the time I got a one-way flight. So I didn't know what we were doing, how long we were going to be gone or anything. I would just get a call at like 2 in the morning and he'd say, what are you doing this weekend? And the answer is always nothing. What's up? I'm available. And then he'd say, check your email, and I'd have a flight for the next day, for the
Oh,
next
yeah?
morning. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I got a flight for 10 o'clock in the morning. A one-way flight. I don't know how long I'm going to be gone, where I'm going. I mean, I know I got an idea. I'm going to go to Paisley Park, but then I don't know. We could be going to Switzerland from there. I don't. Who knows? So I would just have to have a big bag packed and ready to go to Paisley, and then from there wherever we're gonna go.
Did he play all those instruments? Did he did he play just anything like people say? Is that true?
Yes, he played a lot of instruments. I don't think he played as many of them as profoundly as people make it
Yeah.
up.
Um,
Like he, I'm. My understanding is that he could play the saxophone, but he didn't play it around us.
uh,
You see what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
if he had somebody there that he felt like could do the job better than him, he wasn't going to do it in front of them.
Okay.
Um, but yes, he played bass, he played guitar, he played drums, he played piano, keyboards. He did production, percussion, uh, and every different element of those things. So he could play bass, but he could also play, electric bass or acoustic bass. He could play uh, piano or keyboard. You can play acoustic guitar, electric guitar, sitar, any of those things. So when they say, I think they said he played like 27 different instruments or something like that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's why I wanted
I
to
believe
ask you.
so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
How many do you play? How many instruments do you play?
Uh, I don't know. I play I play all saxophones. I play flute. I'm I dabble in clarinet. I'm not very good at it, but I can play clarinet if I need to. Uh, Wind synthesizer, keyboards, percussion. I can play a little bit of drums. I'm not very good, but I can do it enough to record. I can't play any stringed instruments or brass. So no trumpet, no guitar, none of that.
Did you ever try them, or you just not interested, or?
I tried. It just
Yeah.
didn't click. Didn't click. Yeah.
Well, you got the right
Um,
thing though. You know,
yeah.
you do magic with what you got. You know what I'm
I
saying?
try, man. Like I said, if I could play bass guitar, because again, that was my thing. I didn't, growing up, I didn't know that Gerald Albright was a bass player.
That's amazing. You know, I saw him the
Yeah,
other day doing. He was on Facebook doing a little bit. I knew that he played, but
yeah,
he plays with other people though, right? He back in the day he would just do
yeah,
session work, right? Yeah.
yeah. I think he toured with Anita Baker for a while and
Okay.
some others, but yeah, I didn't know he was a bass player. But if I could play, I took lessons to try to learn how to play bass when I was in high school, and it just didn't. I couldn't. Fretted stringed instruments don't make that. It just doesn't register to me. And brass is just too brutal. Um, the embouchure and the valve system super brutal. So I just couldn't I couldn't make sense of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I stick to woodwinds and synthesizers. That's me.
Okay. Great. Well, you know what? Yeah, you got the right thing to do though, bro. So let me
Right.
ask you. You played with so many people. Right now, you're touring with Brian Culbertson. Is that correct?
I am. I'm not with him right now. They are in Napa doing a New Year's show last night and tonight. Uh, I believe it's the last show at Blue Note Napa. So I would have loved to have been there, but that place is so small, and the stage is so small. There was no room for me. But yes, I've been for the last year and a half now. I've been consistently touring with Brian Culbertson, and it's been great. It's been a blast.
I know. I've been seeing you, man. And I'm making a joke about your passport, and then you
Yeah,
hang out. You were Dave Cos too, man. You know,
yeah,
I asked
yeah.
Paul Taylor about him, so I got to ask you too, man. Because in my opinion, as I was telling him,
Mm,
to me, he seems like the Quincy Jones of this generation, bringing younger musicians like yourself and
hmm.
everybody together. So, what do you say about that? You know what, Adrian? Before you answer that, I got
Yeah.
somebody want to say something to you right quick.
Okay.
Good morning.
What's
How
up?
are you?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I'm
Uh-huh.
so excited that he's getting you the last
I
one this
know.
year. That is so
Yeah.
exciting. You know what? I'm so excited and I'm so thankful and grateful for all of you guys who have made this happen for him. It's just like
Yeah.
such a passion for him. And I love hearing you even
Thank
more
you.
live.
Thank you. It took us a while, but we finally got made it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll see
Yeah.
you somewhere live again. Spaghettini's was the last one. Christmas was awesome, just so you
Thank
know.
you. Thank you. Yeah, we're
All
already
right.
talking about booking a couple more shows at Spaghettini this year, so
Nice.
We're
I'll be
we're
back.
there. I'm bringing my horn. You bringing me up next time.
Ah,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You bringing
Oh
me
yeah.
up, right?
I
All you had
got
to
him.
do is say it. Now
Okay.
it's happening.
I'm saying it
Yeah.
now. You bringing me
I
up
got
now.
you. I
You just
got
gotta
you.
let me know what we playing so I can learn the melody at
I got
least.
you. I'll send it to
Okay.
you ahead of time. I'll
All
send it to
right.
you ahead
Take
of time.
care.
See. Okay.
All right
You
now.
heard that, Kim.
I heard.
You got a witness here, Adrian.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
here
it.
it is.
I got it.
Cannonball will be in the trunk, ready to go. No, no,
Listen.
I'm bringing the inside, so
Bring
you
it. Yeah,
can't
no,
miss
no,
me.
yeah, don't leave it in the trunk.
Now I'm bringing it
Have it out
inside.
and ready. You got to have it out and
It's
ready.
gonna be ready.
Yeah.
All right, well, take care. Happy New
All
Year to
right.
you and your
Happy
family
New
and friends.
Year.
I'll see
Okay.
you
All
later.
right. Then.
Have a good day.
Yeah,
See
I
ya.
told her. I said, say hi to
Yeah.
Adrian. You know,
Yeah.
that's my man, though. You know.
Yeah, man.
So,
So,
what we
what were
were
you
talking
asking
about.
me?
You know what? I was asking you about
You asked me about Dave.
Dave. There we go. There we go.
That's right.
Dave Cos.
I will say this about Dave Koz, about David Stephen Koz. I love that man. I love Dave Koz. Man, Dave, to me, this is going to sound corny, but again, you got to understand me, you know, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old me used to go to sleep imagining that I was Dave Koz, you know? So to be able to work with him and play with him and hang out with him and be friends and even just call him or text him is like, man, it's like, being like in those movies, the Be Like Mike,
Yeah,
movies. Remember, there's a movie. You know what I compare it to? There was an old movie with Chuck Norris called Sidekick or
I remember that.
Sidekicks,
Yeah,
right? Where this kid named Barry, he would imagine that his best friend was this superstar action hero that Chuck Norris played, and
yeah,
then he would imagine scenarios where him and Chuck would fight crime together and stuff, and then eventually he actually got to work with Chuck Norris's character in a taekwondo competition or something.
right.
So that's the way I look at it. Dave is Chuck Norris,
Yeah,
and like you got to the thing I got to give Dave credit for, because in this industry, just like most industries, what you see is a lot of, unfortunately, what we've seen is a lot of gatekeeping, and it happens because it's not just the artists, it's the promoters, it's the management, it's the booking agents. There's a lot of gatekeeping because they want to keep certain people in certain places. And unfortunately, what that means is that our demographic for this art form and for this genre stagnates. And so that's why, again, I'm really excited to see a change happening where you have artists like B.K. Jackson and B. Thompson and Lamech and and Aaron Stevenson and just
yeah.
all these different incredible young artists that Haley Reinhardt, you're seeing these young Leo P,
Evan
uh,
Taylor.
Evan Taylor.
Yes,
You know, you're
yes,
seeing these young artists come in, and what that means for the demographic is they're bringing in a whole nother group of people that support this art form and like this art form, or maybe had no idea about this art form and are being exposed to it now. And what
yes.
I got to give Dave credit for is, to me, maybe it's different for other people, but to me, Dave was the first one with the power and influence that he had, because there are others,
Right.
but Dave was the first one at his status that was kicking down doors and pushing young artists through them, and breaking the rules per se.
Yeah.
Uh, and so I'll be eternally grateful to him, because he really did create. He used his influence and his position to create a platform for the younger generation, because he saw what was obvious, which is we need to bring that younger demographic into the art form, to bring that fan base in, to keep the demographic alive. And you know, he just didn't see. I think a lot of people are insecure about it and they want to keep their position. They want to be able to work,
Yeah.
right? Which is fair, but he was the first one I saw do it, and then I started seeing others in his position
Right.
start to do it. But I saw him do it first, so
Right.
I got to give him credit. And again, I'm not saying that there weren't other
Right.
artists who weren't doing it, but they not at the caliber, not at his fame
Right.
and his you know not at his level. So again, I love him for it. He definitely did that for me, and I feel like he did it for Marcus and for BK and for a lot of us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that cruise, man, that Cos cruise is just something to behold. It's wild.
I have to do
Um,
one of those. Paul Taylor was saying, he said you have to do it, so I'm going to do
yeah,
that one, man. Yeah.
there's nothing like the Cos cruise, and I may be uh, getting myself in trouble for saying this, but I feel like I can say it because I don't do any of the other cruises. The Cos cruise is the only one for me. I mean, if the other ones call, that's cool. And I
Yeah.
would love to do them,
Right.
but the Cos Cruise is always going to be priority for me because that I mean it's just a different. First of all, it's different every year. It's a different location every year, so you get to experience the literally the theme of the cruise is experience the world through music with friends.
Okay.
And so it's not like we're going to this one location every year and doing the same route over and over again. It's different every year. So we may go here one year and then we may go here next year. We're going to Brazil. We're going to Brazil this year coming up. And
Wow.
then we're going to Japan in 2027. So, and the reason I can say we is because, and Dave know this because I told him already. The reason I can say no, we is because I already know that I'm gonna be, unless something happens where I just can't be there. I already know I'm gonna be on the cruise for 2027 because I told Dave that the only way he can get rid of me is with a restraining order. Because I'm staying on that cruise. Let me tell you. So yeah, I love Dave. Cheers to Dave, man. Shouts out to him.
Hey, you know what? And me being on the outside looking in, you can tell I have insight because I'm very observant,
Yeah,
and like you said about the gatekeepers, the same people at the jazz festivals,
yeah,
3 jazz artists, 12 R&B artists. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So,
yeah.
am I right? You know,
Man, there was a comedian that talked about Jazz Fest, and he said, what age are we living in when you go to New Orleans to go to Jazz Fest, and the headliners are Willie Nelson and Dolly Parton. You know,
yeah,
no disrespect, I love Willie and I love Dolly,
yeah, yeah,
but it's a jazz fest, right? So yeah, man,
yeah.
yeah,
Let's talk gear, man, because I know
okay,
you like me. You a sax gear. I mean, every
yeah,
time
I'm
I
a
look
gearhead,
around, I watch you got a different horn.
yeah.
And you got the Theo 1A purple one. I love that one, man. So how many horns do you have, man? Do you know?
I don't know, man. I don't know because it's very hard for me to get rid of horns. Like once I play a horn, if I really dig the horn and I play it for a while, I become attached to it. And I think each horn, listen, the really kind of magical but also very annoying thing about saxophones in particular is you and I could have the exact same horn. So that horn you got sitting behind you right now, right?
Yeah.
I could have that exact same model. And if we put them right next to each other with the same setup and everything and played them, they could be completely different horns.
Yes.
So, that's the thing about saxophone is you can try out a horn, and if you don't get that horn and you tell them I want this model and they send you that model, it may not be the same horn.
That's true.
You know, so whenever I get something I like, I hold on to it because I never know, and then I go through phases. I might want a certain tone or a certain, feel uh, for a certain amount of time. And then I'll change and I'll say, I want it to be a little darker and I want it to be a little heavier. So I'll move on to another horn. But I think, oh man, I don't know. I have so many horns. I have
Yeah.
at least 14 or 15 horns.
What are you
Uh,
playing? What are your primary horns? First of all, what is your main voice? So alto, tenor, or soprano? What is your main voice? Or do you have a
It
main voice?
it varies. It goes back and forth between alto and soprano.
Okay.
I think I think in my earlier like in my early teens, soprano was my voice.
Okay.
Uh, Simply because I was going for the Kenny G and Dave Koz soprano feel.
Right.
Uh, and then in high school, and then like later on in high school, 11th, 12th grade, and college, I started getting into fusion. So alto became my voice. Tenor has always been a struggle for me. I love tenor sax. I never liked the way I sound on tenor sax.
You
Um,
sound great to me, man.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm still figuring it out, man. It's something about being behind the horn. When I hear playback, when I hear like recordings of it, I'm like, okay, it sounds good.
Yeah.
But being behind the horn is a real struggle for me because the
Oh,
horn is projecting that way.
right. Right.
Um, so I don't hear the same thing that everyone else hears, and that's always been a struggle for me. Uh, but yeah, I think right now right now soprano is probably my main voice because that's what I'm getting the most response from. Is
Okay.
of course, So Good is on soprano saxophone.
Man,
Um,
whew, man, that
yeah,
was
so I'm getting a really good response on soprano. So I think right now I'm back to being a soprano, known as a soprano player. Uh, but yeah, I think it goes back and forth between alto and soprano.
so. What
And
is
then,
your
as you
setup?
know, I got to tour with Brian this fall. I got to play a lot of baritone saxophone, which I
I
never
saw
did.
that. I saw you
Yeah,
playing Tess Barry. Man.
yeah. I never get to do that, so that was a great experience.
You enjoy playing Barry?
Yes and no. I enjoy it. I did not enjoy doing it on the Brian Culbertson tour because it's a lot of like Brian's show is high energy, high
I
impact,
know.
high energy show.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm jumping around the stage with a Barry saxophone. That's not. It's fun, but it's not fun. You dig what I'm saying? It's a lot of work.
You feel it
So
after
yeah.
the show, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah, with that
yes.
Barry. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But it was a great time. So
So now, how many endorsements? I know you're endorsed by Theo Wane Mouthpieces, right? How many
hmm
endorsements do you have?
I endorse Theo Wani primarily. I also I endorse Antigua Winds
Okay.
saxophones.
Yeah,
I've been playing Antigua for since 2011.
yeah. Those are those
Um,
horns.
yeah, they're cool and they're great people. Um, I love like my main alto is the one you see me with all the time. Is the most consistent alto that I play is an Antigua alto.
Okay.
Um, and then my soprano is definitely an Antigua power bell soprano. Um, I also play Leger synthetic reeds, and I
What
endorse them.
step? What strength?
I go back and forth between. It depends if I'm playing a signature or American cuts,
Right.
and I usually kind of stay somewhere between two and a quarter, and 2.5. I don't
Wow.
play very hard reeds because I play very open mouthpieces. So
You
my
know,
all my
yeah,
Theo Wani mouthpieces are like sevens and eights with
right.
stars.
I have that Durga 5 as well.
hmm
But you know what? That, as you know, that's a high performance piece. It's a little much for me. I can't really control that one, so I don't play it as much. I use,
Yeah,
what I mean? You got to be true to yourself. I'm like, I love it.
yeah,
It projects like a mother, but I get a little shrillness because,
yeah.
you know what I mean? I haven't developed all of that.
hmm
So, get in where you fit in. I just set that to the
Yeah,
side, and I'm using a custom pop right now, which is kind of like a hard rubber, but it's,
yeah.
yeah. Aaron Q Man turned me on to it. It's a nice piece, man. Yeah,
Well, it's funny that you say that. So when it comes to the Durga is my favorite Theo piece.
yeah.
Outside of my favorite Theo piece is the Kali hard rubber,
Okay.
but they don't really make that one anymore. Uh, so the Durga, as far as a overall performance piece, the Durga has always been my favorite Theo piece because I can get the cut and the brightness,
Yes.
but I can also have the body, and it doesn't fatigue me, so I don't get tired on it as often or as easy. But uh, a couple years ago, I had them make me a custom Durga that's purple. You've seen me play the purple
Yeah.
Durga. Um, Obviously, it made me a purple see-through, like kind of see-through, transparent purple Durga. But the body type that they use for it is a fatter model,
Mm.
almost like a hard rubber piece, and it feels like a hard rubber. And I found that just the body type of that mouthpiece, I like that better than the very thin, uh, narrow body type of the regular Durga pieces.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they made me another one. They made me an updated one that looks more identical to the original Durgas,
Okay.
and I like it, but I like my original the Fat Boy better. And I
Okay.
think it's because it feels like a hard rubber piece, but it still plays like a Durga.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah.
That's all right.
But I totally understand what you're saying though about the shrillness sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, that's another reason why I kind of go back and forth between two and a quarter, 2.5. Like
Right.
what size piece are you playing?
Oh, a 7. I'm using a
Yeah,
7.
yeah,
And I usually use a 1.75 or a 2.0 on Legier myself. I do
yeah.
the same, yeah.
So if you're doing that, I would try. If you're playing a 7, I would try going up to like a 2.5. Um, the way I understand it is maybe, and I don't know these things. Like I can't tell you anything about the baffle or any of those
Right,
things
right,
about a
right.
mouthpiece. But the way I understand it is like, because I used to be a little insecure about the fact that I was playing really soft reeds. Because in saxophone world, everybody wants to play threes and fours.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, but I used to be a little insecure about that. But somebody explained it to me a little better, and my understanding is the more open your mouthpiece is, the softer the reed.
right.
So if I'm playing like an 8 star, a 2 1/4 or a 2 is fine.
Yeah.
So you playing a 7, maybe try a 2 1/4 or 2.5, and it might take away some of that shrillness.
You know what? Yeah, that's true. The only thing is,
Yeah.
but on those Legere reads, if you get like a 2.25, it's almost like equivalent to almost a 2.5 or a 3 in the Canyon
Yeah.
read. So I tried 2 2/4,
Yeah.
and it was hard to blow though. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
why
Are you playing the signature or the American, or what are you playing?
the signature.
Try
No,
the
no,
American.
The American cut.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing is now, as much as I love Leger, I will say that the reeds are not as like back in the day. A Leger reed, like one was identical to the next, to the next, to the next. You
right.
just slap it on and it's gonna play. Now the Leger reeds, they're still great, but they're more like real reeds, which is they vary. So I can have two identical reeds and they play differently.
Yeah.
But fortunately, another plug here, you can actually shave uh, Legers.
Is it
So if you
with
have
the reed
like
geek?
if you
Oh,
have like a reed geek, yeah, if you have a reed geek, you can shave Legers.
I heard you can
Um,
boil them too, like 10 seconds. Did you hear that? You
you can
dip
boil
it
them. Yeah,
10 seconds,
yeah,
and pull it out or something. I never tried it though. They said it make it
yeah.
softer or what have you.
It will. It will make it softer, but it'll also affect the life of the reed.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Put that hot
yeah,
water on it like that, so
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's. I mean, but I love them, and I've tried going back to Kane a few times. Every now and then I'll play a Kane reed, but it's
yeah,
really hard for me to find Kane that I like. Um, the Legers, I travel. I'm in different climates every
right.
day. So reeds react to humidity. And so I just need something that's going to be consistent, and that's why I like the synthetics. Is cuz
How long do
I
they
know
normally
it's going to
last
play.
you? How long do you normally get
Uh
one of
these
those?
days these days Leger American cuts will last me longer than a cane reed. So I might be able to get a couple of months out of it
Yeah,
actually.
yeah,
But I will say that back in the day, I keep saying back in the day, like back in 2009, 2010, 2011, I could literally play a Leger signature series read all year
yeah.
and it would play.
Ah,
And so I think they figured that out and they weren't making any money because nobody was buying. They buy reeds for the year and then be done.
that's
And
it.
so I think they changed them because of that, which I can't be mad. That's business. I understand, but yeah, I
How do
miss
you
those
know?
old days.
How do you know when one of those is going bad? When you're playing yours, how do you know? What's your
You can
indication when it's
feel it.
going bad?
It doesn't resonate.
Yeah,
They stop resonating. Either they stop resonating or they'll start to cut your lip a little bit.
yeah. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
I felt that before. Yeah, you're like,
yeah.
yeah.
Man, that's the one thing about synthetic reeds overall is it's plastic.
You got to be
So
careful. Yeah,
if it's vibrating at a certain speed when you play it, it's a piece of plastic, and now if it splits, technically it's serrated.
yeah,
So that piece of plastic becomes a small knife,
yeah,
and it's just vibrating on your lip, and so eventually it's gonna cut you. It's
yeah,
like a paper cut. It's
yeah.
gonna be a
You're
paper
right.
cut, pretty
You're
much.
right.
Yeah.
Hey, so let me ask you, Adrian. I know your mother calls you Dr. A, so I had to ask you where did that come from? I see me said Dr. A, so I said I got to ask him that.
Yeah. Um, a few years ago, I was doing an interview for a documentary that hasn't come out yet, but I was doing an interview about Prince, um, and the director of the documentary also works with a few universities, a few colleges, and he asked me about my education and about my time with Prince. And like I said to you earlier, I really feel like my 4 years with Prince is better than any college education I could have ever gotten. I did get a college. I got my bachelor's at Florida State University, um, and shouts out to Florida State, but no pun intended, but nothing compares to the education I received during my time with Prince, and I feel that way. I stand on that. Um, and so that director went to one of the schools that he worked with, and he gave them that story, and they decided to award me an honorary doctorate. Uh,
Oh, okay.
so that's why she calls me Doctor A,
Oh,
because
so you
I
have an honorary doctor. So,
I have an honorary doctorate.
well, man,
Yeah,
you know what? You need to pump that up a little bit, man. That's why I'm
I
glad I asked you the question, man.
yeah. It's
You are
weird being
Doctor A
called
now.
Doctor A, but I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm taking all these things in stride, man. I'm taking all the accolades. Like again, I try to stay humble, but it's good to have accolades and to be acknowledged for the things that are happening. So yeah, I appreciate that.
You know what, man? But you're a great guy, though, man. I'm not just
Thank
saying
you,
that because you're on here, but you are, man. I mean, we've gotten to know each other a little bit, man. You're really good people. You come from good stock, man, and
thank you, man.
you have a tendency to make people feel as if you know them, and that's
Hmm.
everybody's not like that, man. So I want to
Yeah,
commend you on
thank you.
how open you are, man, and that's really cool. And
Well, yeah, this is a community, man, and no matter how big the industry is, we're still a community, and you're a player,
yes,
but there are a lot of people out there who just support us,
right,
and the thing about it is, what I try to remind artists of is that this whole thing, this whole art form, is contingent upon what I call. Here's Dr. A coming out. This is contingent upon what I call reciprocated energy, right? Um, this doesn't work if you don't have reciprocated energy, which means, yeah, I can go and play a show, but if there's nobody in the audience, it doesn't matter. I mean, it might feel a certain need for me, but if I'm not feeding this energy into an audience and then receiving energy back from that audience, then it doesn't really, it's stagnant. It
right,
stagnates. And so I think, as important as we are as the players, our audience is just as important. And so I try to make sure that I have a relationship with my audience, uh, and my you want to call them fans, my friends. They're my friends.
right,
Uh, these people support us, and they come out. And even, I mean, during the pandemic, one of the most beautiful things I saw during the pandemic was these fans, these people who have real jobs and real careers and things, were calling to check on me and the other musicians and making sure we were good. We had our rent paid and we had food in our fridge. So these people really take care of us and give us something that we give them energy and they give it back to us. And so that's why I try to remain open and be friends with people, because these are people and they are supportive of us, and this doesn't work without them.
you're right, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wish more artists and entertainers would take that same approach. I'm not saying you got to go shake everybody's hand, but you can
yeah.
be cordial, though.
You can be cordial,
You
right?
can
It
be
doesn't take
cordial.
anything to be cordial.
Yeah,
None of us are above anybody else, and I
yeah,
think that's the thing that we have to remember. Um, but on the flip side, I will say this in defense of the artist: sometimes we don't know what they might be dealing with, or what kind of stress they're under, or anything. So they might be exhausted or agitated or annoyed with the kids, or
yeah,
might have some personal stuff going on at home, and we don't know. So we
yeah,
kind of have to give them grace. But again, I like to remind all artists that even though you're dealing with that, these people still come to support, and you can at least be cordial with them. You know, it don't take much. It
right.
don't take much.
So let me ask
Yeah,
you another question, Adrian, about being on the road. Uh, a good-looking young single guy like yourself on the road, doing all this, that, and other. How do you keep the main thing the main thing? You know what I mean? When you're out on the road, not
yeah.
get. How do you keep everything in perspective?
Um, I think it's a very slippery slope. I'm I've been in this. I've had skin in this game for a long time, and I went through the phases. So I've gone through the party phase, the rock star phase, all of that stuff. And the reality is, once you've experienced all those things, everybody needs to, my godfather used to say, taste the wine and smell the roses. Make sure you take time to taste the wine and smell the roses. And I've done that. And eventually, once you've experienced those things and done all that stuff, it gets old. It gets repetitive, it gets predictable, and it gets there's no sustenance to it. There's no real meaning. So yeah, there's groupies and all that stuff out there, and the young guys they're gonna partake. They're gonna experience those things. The young
Right.
guys and girls are gonna experience those things because they can. But eventually, it gets repetitive and old and predictable. And I think the way you keep it in check is just get it out of your system, and then find find what your comfort is and what you like, and go for that. Me myself, I remain single uh, because I know that this lifestyle is very suspicious. It's I'm constantly on the road. I'm
Yeah.
constantly around beautiful women
Right.
all the time. Like, listen, this crowd. There's nothing like the smooth jazz crowd because it's a bunch of you know fellas. I love y'all too. And thank you for your support. But the smooth jazz crowd is a bunch of grown, sexy, independent, established women, and so it can be very threatening and intimidating for the girl back home, and
Yeah.
and so I understand that, and I don't have the patience or the care to argue or to fight that with a girl uh, back home. So I just stay single, man. Uh, I casually date. I'll date every now and then, but for the most part, I stay to myself. I like being on my own anyway. I guess I'm one of the few that do. I enjoy my space, and so I try to encourage guys to take it easy. If you got to experience that whole lifestyle, the fun part, the party part, get it out of your system, and then find find what you think is sustenance and try to stick to that. Create your space, but be open and communicate with people. Make sure everybody knows where you stand. Don't lead anybody on. Uh, we don't want to break any hearts. We don't want to break hearts. So that's the best advice I can give. But I'm not the greatest for giving that type of advice because I'm still single.
Yeah.
So uh,
Yeah.
but I like, my thing is I like to what I've taken on is I want to be the soundtrack to people's love life. I want to be Cupid. And
Right.
so sometimes when you're Cupid, you got to sacrifice everything else and be Cupid so that everybody else can enjoy. So that's
Amen.
kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
Hey man, so let me ask you about where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Hmm. Hopefully in the next 5 years, I'll just be building what I'm doing now. Building myself as an artist. I came into the artist game very late. Um, I I tried it fresh out of college. I tried to do the artist thing, and I was jaded. I didn't want to, I didn't get the response I wanted, and I was being told what I could and couldn't do, you know. And so I kind of said, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. Uh, Ironically, I'm not really as comfortable with the attention that most frontmen or artists get. That's still an awkward thing for me. I'm an introverted person naturally, um, and so once that whole thing happened with being an artist, I put out my first album and I didn't get the response I wanted, and I was getting a lot of fight. I wasn't really getting accepted. I decided to be a sideman, and I put all my energy into being a sideman, and I did that successfully. Uh, and it wasn't until 2016. I mean, I still did the artist thing on the side as a hobby when I wasn't a sideman for someone. But it wasn't until 2016, 2017 that I really started to take being an artist seriously and prioritize it. Um, like I said, I got into this game very late, and I hope that I can keep building myself as an artist, because the main thing that we need as artists or as musicians, in order to make a living, we got to have consistency. So I'm trying to build consistency. I want to build a legacy. I want to uh, I want to continue to inspire youth. I want to inspire young people and bring them into this art form that we have, so that we can keep cultivating the culture of it and take it on to the next generation. Uh, I want those youth that I inspire, I want them to take it and give it to somebody else. And that's how we stay immortal. That's how we keep going. You know, 50 years from now, if I'm gone, when I'm gone, 50 years from now, when I'm gone or if I'm gone, I want people to still hear my sound through some other young player who's been listening to one of my students or somebody who listened to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. And then because I listened to Dave Koz and Gerald Albright and Kirk Whalum, some student is going to be listening to me and get those elements of Dave and Kirk and Gerald and me now, and then they're going to pass it on to the people who come after them. And so 3 generations from now, if I were to get into a time machine, I would love to be able to go 3 generations down the road and, first of all, still see our art form thriving. One. And then two, I'd love to hear young voices that remind me of Marcus Anderson and BK Jackson and Eric Darius and B. Thompson and
Yeah.
Kirk Whalum and Gerald Albright and Dave Koz and Kim Waters and Paul Taylor. I want to hear all those voices down the road so that we remain immortal, just like Coltrane and Bird. You
Yeah.
know. So yeah, that's where I see myself in the next 5 years, is just continuing to pass it on and create
Beautiful,
consistency.
man. Hey, let me ask you, Adrian, uh, about the breakout. First of all, I'm happy for you get that award, but I was a little offended because breakout artist, brother, he been at this for a minute. But I mean, hey, still kudos to you. But you understand what I'm saying, though?
I
Breakout
totally
artist.
understand.
Talk
That's
to
the
me about that.
game.
Yeah.
That's the game. Is you know, to the general public. Again, I started late, trying to build myself as an artist. And one of the first things I said in this conversation, there is no such thing as overnight success. And anything you do, there is no such thing as overnight success. Uh, so these terms really represent the public's perception of you. Um, and so, is it a little offensive to be considered a breakout artist when I've been doing this for 25 years or so, 30 years? Yeah, but the fact that they're even acknowledging me is still humbling, and I appreciate it. And, you know, I was the rising star for Seabreeze this year. The rising
Right.
star,
Yeah.
meaning this guy's one to look out for. He's going
Right.
to do something great,
Right.
which is like, okay, well, yeah, I'll take it, even
Yeah.
though I've been doing this for a long
I
time. It's
know.
not. So again, I don't take offense to it. I actually appreciate it, because that means finally my work is starting to pay off and people are starting to pay attention.
That's amazing, and I'm happy for you. I was just saying, me knowing you when I saw that, though. I was just saying to myself,
Oh man,
you know what I mean?
the the when I got the rising star, when I was labeled the rising star for 2025 on social media, that's all I was seeing was people saying, "Where have y'all been? He's been doing this."
That's what I'm saying.
I was saying it, and it was cracking me up, because
Yeah.
they're right. But it's just like a great analogy I talk about with kids. Again, there's no such thing as overnight success. A lot of the celebrities that kids look up to today. Let's take Stranger Things, the series Stranger Things. All those kids are now celebrities in their own right. the kids that are the cast of Stranger Things. I don't know if you've watched that show on
No, I haven't
Netflix,
seen it.
but all of those kids are now celebrities in their own rights, right? And people think, the general public thinks, man, imagine that. You get cast in this big role, once in a lifetime role, and now overnight you're a superstar celebrity. No, that's not what happened. These kids, these all of these kids were Broadway actors
Mm,
before getting this role. You
right.
know,
Yeah.
and all of them had been in film, like films that didn't go to mainstream movies. They might have been in film festivals and things like that. They've all been doing this since they were little kids, and now
Right.
that they're teenagers, it's starting to pay off. But it took years, and so I use that when I'm talking to kids because I want them to understand, like, you know, this doesn't happen overnight. And just the accolades will come and it'll make it seem like it happened overnight for the general public.
Right.
But we all know the work that's put in on the other side uh, to get you to that point where you can be the breakout artist or the overnight success or the rising star. And so I take it, I take it with pride um, because it also, for me, it also means that how do I explain it? It also means that we're just getting started.
There you go.
So if this is the point, is if this is the break point for what my career is going to be to the public, then that means we have plenty of time and we're just getting started and we have so much more that we can do. So I take it gracefully.
All
Yeah.
right, man. Hey, Adrian, you played with so many people, man. So just for the listeners' sake, just run
Yeah.
off names of people that you have played with, shared the stage with, recorded with, or whatever. Just start naming people because I know it's a
First and
lot.
foremost, let's see. First and foremost, obviously Prince, uh, and the artist associated with Prince. So Larry Graham, uh, uh, Liv Warfield, Andy Allo, Shelby J, all of those artists with Prince. Mint Condition, Stokely.
Oh,
Uh,
okay,
I've shared the stage with Morris Day.
okay.
I've been on stage with, man, Lettucey, uh,
Gosh, love her.
Foreplay, Nathan East, the Gap Band and Charlie Wilson, uh, Casey and JoJo, Anthony Hamilton, Fantasia, uh, Young Jeezy. Back in the
Okay,
day, I did Young Jeezy.
yeah.
Uh, let's see who else. Lionel Richie, Bette Midler. I toured with Lionel Richie and Bette Midler.
Okay.
Um, man, there's so many. I have to. Trombone Shorty,
Oh,
CeeLo Green. Uh,
oh,
man, I'm looking at my wall right now to see if I see any badges of people. There's just been so many, man. I've played with, obviously, with jazz artists like Alex Bouillon
oh, okay.
and Peter White and uh, Marcus Johnson and Mike Phillips
Oh, that's
and
another bad boy.
yeah, I love Mike. Who else? I've played with Jeff Lorber,
Ah, man. Yeah,
uh, Ellis Marsalis. Uh, man, the list goes on. I
yeah.
can't even
I know, man. We'd be
I
all
can't
day
even
with all the
think
ones
of.
you don't play with.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man. I've played with a lot of people. Jeff Bradshaw, Lindsey Webster,
Okay.
uh, Jonathan Butler,
Oh,
of course. Gotta say Jonathan Butler.
JB.
Yeah, man. Uh, Mesa.
Oh, love her
Yeah.
too, man.
Oh yeah. So I've shared the stage with many great, great, great artists. Paul Jackson Jr.
Ah,
Yeah, like it's been a great run, man. I'm very thankful for my career, and I get to play, like, I get to play with my peers now. So that's I get to play with my heroes who are now my peers. It's crazy.
you know what, man? And what I sense from you is you believe in the power of manifestation because you manifested this
Hmm.
career by visualizing yourself. You know, it's as if I
Oh yeah.
am Sanborn or whoever.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's very important. People get that the law of attraction,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Manifestation, man, it's real, man.
I got so in high school, this is a funny story. In high school, if I wanted to get a gig and I was playing with a band or I was gonna play with a band, and generally people ask you who have you played for, and in high school I would tell people all the time. I'd be like, oh man, or who have you played with? And I'd say, oh, I played with Earth, Wind and Fire and the Gap Band and the Isley Brothers and the Jacksons and Anita Baker, Luther Vandross. Uh, you know, I'm in like ninth grade, eighth grade, ninth grade, and I tell people that, and they'd be like, "You played with Luther Vandross? You played with Earth, Wind and Fire?" I'm like, "Yeah, I play with them every day because I would put their records on at home and I play along to them. So technically, I was playing with them."
It worked. You absolutely
So
were.
I was manifesting, So
Yes.
I mean, I do think that's a big thing is you have to believe in yourself before anybody else is gonna believe in you, uh, and having a vivid imagination does help you to visualize what you want to be and who you want to be and where you want to be. And if you see yourself as that, eventually people will see you as that as well. And so I do think that had a lot to do with me getting to the places that I got to.
All right, Adrian. Man, I tell you what, man, this has been a wonderful conversation, brother. I really appreciate all your time, man. But before you go, can you
Yeah,
let everybody know how to get in touch with you? You have any upcoming shows and all that good stuff?
sure. Man, I don't really know what I have coming up shows wise because January is always a strange one.
No, is
January is always slow, but I'm happy to be home. That's all I care about. Is I'm
yeah.
just happy to be home. As far as where to get a hold of me, I will keep everyone abreast of what's happening, what we're doing. Of course, on social media, you can find me at Real Good Sax. That's the easiest way to find me on Instagram and others, or Adrian Crutchfield on Facebook. That's my name. Um, if you want to go to my website, it's just adriancrutchfield.com or ilovegoodsax.com. And I encourage everyone to join my mailing list because, one, I'm not going to over bombard you and send you a lot of junk mail, but I will tell you where I'm going to be and when. I like to shoot everyone kind of a monthly thing showing what's going on. And, you never know. I may be in your area. And so, uh, yeah, join the mailing list and I'll keep you abreast of everything that's happening. Other than that, Real Good Sax or ilovegoodsax.com. Just stay in touch with me.
Well, thank you so much, Adrian. Man, you know what? Much more continued success in 2026 for you, brother.
Thank you,
And
man.
the breakout artist of the year, the number one song, man,
Yes,
and
sir.
touring with Brian and Dave, man. Uh, I'm just happy for you, brother. I'm glad to be able to call you friend.
Of course. Of course.
And are you gonna be a NAM?
I don't know.
You don't
I'm
know?
I'm considering it, but it really depends on whether uh, the Theowani crew or the Antigua crew need me to be there.
We'll
Um,
see. Okay.
if they don't need me to be there, I probably won't come this year.
Right.
Nam is a lot, man.
It
That's
is. I know. I
I,
know.
I love it. I look at it like the teddy bear's picnic. It's
Yeah.
where we all get together and it's a great hang.
Right.
But it's a lot getting out there and just spending the money to do it.
I
So
understand.
hopefully I can get out there at least for a day.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Okay. All right, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, Adrian, you take care, brother. Let's stay in touch, man. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
All
I'm
right,
gonna
man.
hold you to that. I'm bringing my cannonball up. I'm coming to Spaghettini. Okay.
Yeah, man. I got you. At least if you don't bring it, I'm gonna have an extra mouthpiece just because.
No, I'm bringing it, though. I'm gonna be
All
ready.
right.
Okay. All right,
All
Adrian. Take
right.
care, brother.
All right, man.
Ladies
Happy
and
New
gentlemen,
Year.
same to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Adrian Crutchfield. Be on the lookout for him. He's a great player and even a better person. So you guys take care. Later.